Good morning. Welcome to Power Morning Monday. I am your bounce back guide, Tiffany Huff Struthers. I'm so grateful that you are here joining me. For those of you who don't know, the Power Morning is not only my morning ritual, but it is also a 21-day journey that I take women on who want to focus more on their faith, grow their relationship with God, and work through their trust issues. And so, beginning today and moving forward, I'll be meeting you here for Power Morning Monday and taking you through this journey to start your week with faith and focus and to really spend some time getting the clarity that you need on this journey to bouncing back. What I know for sure as a result of my own bounce back journey is that when you have had a setback, when you've grown through something, it's very challenging to decide where to start. When you've had so many things come undone along your journey, it can be overwhelming to even begin. The truth, though, is that you have to focus on what you can control and have faith that God is going to bring you through. As long as you do your part, He's going to do His part. And that's what the Power Morning does for you. It creates a space for you to command your morning. It creates a space for you to focus on something that you can control because your morning becomes your days and your days make up your life. So if you start your day off kilter, right? If you wake up and you're hitting snooze and you're waiting until the very last minute to get dressed and get out of the door, if you're not prepared in your mind, then the rest of your day will end up the same way that you started. Not that you can't change your day. However, when you start your morning with power, you're more likely to move through your day with power and begin to live a life that is powerful. So, I want to start off by sharing with you the acronym for POWER, which is my morning ritual. So, if you don't already, I would grab a pen or pencil and jot this down. Now, this is not meant to be legalistic. This is meant more as a guide for you to create, like I said, a space where you can begin your days and live your life with power. You do not have to do these steps in order. In fact, I find that if you start closer to the end, you end up at the beginning, and you'll understand that in a moment. But I tell people all of the time, even if you're just starting out with commanding your morning, if you get the POW, then you are much better off than if you do nothing at all. Okay, so first of all, the P in power is for prayer. This means that you have created a sacred space where you can go. It could be in a closet, it could be at the foot of your bed, it could be in a specific room in your house, it could even be in the bathroom if you have to. But you spend some time in prayer, and this looks different for everybody. But ultimately, this is a time for you to communicate with God, to express gratitude, to make any confessions, and also any petitions that you need to bring to the throne. The O in power stands for opening up or meditation. So after you bring your petitions to God, now you are going to be still and listen to Him, right? So you're opening up the dialogue, right? Prayer is a conversation. A lot of times we get caught up in that. We dump all of these things out, or we pour all of these things out onto the throne, but we don't take the time to sit still and listen to what God has to say to us, right? So the O is for opening up. And then the W is for write. Now, I don't want you to feel pressure to write anything specific, right? This is really about emptying out the things that you woke up with, anything that's on your mind, anything that you're heavy with. This is about creating a dump in a journal where you can just be free. And when you first start this, you can give yourself some grace. I'm at a point where now I'm writing about 3 pages in the morning, but even if you could get a page or a half page of your journal, it is helpful to help you clear your mind. And this isn't something that, again, you're trying to watch punctuation or spelling. This is literally a freehand blurb, right? And it could be that when you first start this, you will be writing, "This is stupid, Tiffany. I don't know why Tiffany told me to do this. This doesn't make any sense. I have nothing to say." Whatever it is that is on your mind, write it down, get it out, because at some point, once you get all the muck off the top, the good stuff, the greatness, what God intends for you to get out is going to come out. So you have to trust the process. So that's the POW: prayer, opening up, and writing. And then the E stands for exercise. So, like I said at the beginning, there are a lot of people who start with exercise, and because they exercise so hard, they end up on the floor ready to pray. So, how you do this process is completely up to you. And this isn't about having to run a marathon. There is no set time frame for you to exercise. This is really about you getting your body moving, right? Honoring God by honoring your body. It could be you going up and down your steps a few times. You could get outside of your house and walk around the block a few times, or you could actually go for a run or do a YouTube workout. This could also include you going to the gym. This is for you to customize to do what it takes for you to be powerful. And then the R is reading. And this is not about reading your Facebook feed. This is about reading something that is going to feed you, that is going to fill you, so that, again, you can begin your day with power and live your days and your life with power. So that's the acronym: prayer, opening up, writing, exercise, and reading. And so the way it works is that when you're doing the Power Morning with me through the 21-day journey, we start out with a word, right? There's a theme and a topic for each day. And we start out with a word, and then you get a prayer prompt, an opening up prompt, a writing prompt, an exercise prompt, and a reading prompt. So, our topic for today, if you can see, is stop hoarding. And I wanted to speak with you about this specifically in this time, right? There is a lot going on, of course, with the Rona out here in these streets. And I'm sure if you have not experienced, you've seen or heard about the challenge with getting toilet paper if you didn't have any, because people are hoarding it, right? And no one seems to understand why people are hoarding the toilet paper. And I'm not going to go into why that is happening. However, I do want you to shift your perspective about that. I want you to flip the lens on yourself, so to speak. I want you to consider what you might be hoarding in this season. Because, yes, it is wrong for people to go into grocery stores and buy up all the meat and buy up all of the supplies and not leave any toilet paper. And then, even worse, if they want to price gouge you, right, and try and sell it back to you. However, a lot of times on this journey to bouncing back, we become hoarders. We become hoarders of our stories. We become hoarders of our experiences. We begin to feel like we have to keep them close and protected because of what might happen if we release it. We begin to wonder what might happen if we share it, right? Just like the people with this toilet paper, they feel like if they share it, they might run out. I came through this morning to tell you that you have to stop hoarding your story. It is time for you to use your voice now more than ever. It is time for you to use your voice to make an impact and, in many cases, an income. It is time for you to release the shame and the guilt and the fear of sharing your truth, of being a blessing to someone else, of using what God has given you to change the world. And especially now, right now, people need to hear stories of overcoming. People need to know that you've grown through. People need to know that you don't look like what you've been through. But the only way that people will be able to do that is if you stop hoarding. And our scriptural reference for this morning is Jeremiah 1:5, one of my very favorite scriptures. And it simply says this: before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Now, this is one of those scriptures that people love to quote, right? God has a purpose for me. He has a plan for me. He had this decided before I was born, right? But this also is a scripture that is used when people are hoarding, right? Because they have decided that whatever path they have chosen for themselves is a path that God had for them before they were born. But I came through to tell you this morning that if you have a story and you know that you are being nudged and you know that God is telling you to use the power of your story to change the world, to be a beacon, right? If this story is what God has put in you to be part of your bounce back blueprint, but you've decided that your own plan is what God had for you before he formed you in the womb, you are sadly mistaken. I came through today to let you know that this is part of the plan God had for you. This is what he had decided before he formed you in the womb. And also, he says, as it is quoted in the scripture, I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. He made the decision on the nation you would serve before he even formed you in the womb. And so you choosing to hoard what he has gifted you to serve the nation he has appointed you to is what is holding you back. If you think about people who hoard, if you've seen the show on television where people are hoarding, they have so much stuff around that they are secluded into specific areas, right? There are only certain paths that they can take through their homes because of how much stuff they have accumulated. And the same is true for you. You are not walking in the likeness of God. You are not able to move the way that he would have you move. You feel like you continuously have setback over setback over setback, and it's because your hoarding has caused you to accumulate so much stuff that you are tripping over things that God would have you trample on. Today is the day for you to stop hoarding. If you want to start your morning with power, if you want to start your day with power, if you want to live your life with power, it is time for you to stop hoarding. It's time for you to use your voice to share that story and begin to trample on the things that God has appointed you to and stop tripping over them. So here's what I have for you to do on this Monday morning. Write out your prayers. Start with the gratitude, right? Thank God for the story that he's given you, for the experience that you've grown through. Confess to him in prayer that you have been hoarding it for whatever reason, be it fear, be it guilt, be it shame. Let him know, and then pray for guidance, for support, for discernment, for wisdom, for community to be a part of, so that you can stop hoarding and begin to release what he has planted deep down in you before he formed you in your mother's womb. Open up and meditate right after you pray. Meditate on this scripture that you might be sure and understand what he set you apart for and who the nation is that he has called you to impact by sharing your growth journey of your setback. How is he going to use you and your bounce back blueprint to change the world? And then what I want you to do after you finish that is I want you to go to the link in my bio and click join the Bounce Back Blueprint community. This is going to be the space where you are surrounded by like-minded women who are also on the journey from setback to impact and income. This is where you're going to have the support to build your specific personal bounce back blueprint. I am excited to be your guide in the journey to doing that, and there will also be opportunity for you to get free journal pages and other lessons and tips through being part of this community. So grab that link in my bio, join the Bounce Back Blueprint community. Make sure you set your alarm so that you are ready for the next Power Morning Monday. And if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and or YouTube at the Tiffany Huff. I look forward to supporting you in this journey, and I hope you have an amazing Monday.